Today we are going to talk about why you are always tired. You're doing everything right, you're tracking your sleep on your smartwatch, you're hitting your solid 8 hours, you've done your morning workout, and you finished your to-do list, but somehow you still wake up feeling really exhausted. The morning alarm just feels like a physical assault, and a cup of coffee only gets you to your baseline of functioning. By 2 p.m., you are hit with a new wave of fatigue. It's so intense you could literally drop off and go to sleep on the desk. I have been there. In the early days I was working and trying to apply to med school, I thought this was the price for getting what I wanted. I thought that this is something that everyone trying to achieve something has to go through. But it turns out, not to everyone. Like so many of you, I was making one massive mistake. And this mistake has nothing to do with the quantity of your sleep. And it has everything to do with the quality of your sleep. Because here is the secret. Rest isn't just about the absence of work. It's the active process of recovery. If you're not fully switched off from work before you sleep, you are like charging your phone with 20 apps still running in the background. You're draining your battery while you're charging it. The battery may say 100% the next morning, but it is drained by noon because it never truly stopped working. This is the number one reason why high achievers always chronically feel tired. It isn't sleep duration, it is lack of what psychologists call psychological detachment. My name is Kunyi. In this video we're about to dive into the whys and hows of this phenomenon. And at the end of the video, I will share with you 5 tips on how to completely detach from work. Psychological detachment is a well-studied idea in psychology. The term was first introduced in 2005 to describe the process of mentally disengaging from work during non-work hours. In a study, they tracked 87 individuals from different jobs for 3 days using questionnaires. They found that employees who reported poor psychological detachment from work had significantly worse energy levels and higher levels of burnout, even if they were getting adequate sleep. Let that sink in. You could be in bed for 8, 9, or 10 hours, but if your mind is still at work, running your to-do list, replaying a meeting that you had in the morning, or worrying about the presentation that you need to deliver the next day, your body is not going to get the deep, restorative sleep that it needs. After their initial findings, the team replicated the study with 166 public administration employees over the course of a week, doubling both the number of participants and the duration of the experiment. They found that the inability to mentally disconnect from work during non-work hour is a massive predictor of emotional exhaustion and fatigue. It turns out, feeling of exhaustion and recovery is not only about the hours you've worked, it is also about how much you've recovered when you're not working. This was my life for the past 3 years. I would come home from a really long shift, my body was tired, but my brain was still running on 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'd be mentally preparing slides, stressing about a meeting, thinking about all the things that I haven't done. I'd physically leave the desk, but mentally, I never clocked out. I'd wake up after a full night of sleep, feeling like I'd been run over by a train. I was charging, but all of the apps are still running. What actually happened in your body when you failed to detach? There are 3 key mechanisms at play. 1. Stress hormone dysregulation. Your body has a brilliant but ancient system for dealing with acute threats, the fight or flight response, mediated by hormones like cortisol. This is great if you're being chased by a giant tiger, but the problem for the modern day high achiever is that your brain can't really tell the difference between a tiger and an angry email from your boss. When you're constantly thinking about work, your body remains in a state of low-level chronic stress. Your cortisol level, which should follow a beautiful daily rhythm, peaking in the morning when you wake up and then gently decline throughout the day to the lowest point in the evening, becomes dysregulated. This means that at 11 p.m., When you're trying to sleep, your cortisol is still elevated. This prevents you from falling into the deep, slow wave sleep and REM sleep that are crucial for physical repair, memory consolidation, and emotional regulation. It's like having an internal alarm clock that is stuck on the on position. You might be unconscious or sleeping, but your nervous system is still on high alert. The result is that you wake up feeling shallow, unrefreshed, and still tired. The second mechanism at play here is cognitive overload and attentional residue. Every task you perform, every notification you get, and every decision you make consumes mental energy. This is your precious cognitive resource. And when you finish a work task and immediately jump onto Teams, then check your email, scroll through your phone, your brain doesn't instantly switch tasks. Part of your attention remains stuck on the previous task. This means that your brain is never truly at rest. It's like a web browser with millions of tabs open, and each one of them is slowly draining your precious RAM. Even when you're watching Netflix, part of your brain is still processing the unfinished project. This cognitive load burns mental energy 24/7, leaving you with a perpetual energy deficit. You're mentally multitasking even in your downtime, which means that you are never actually in your downtime. The third mechanism at play here is the resource drain. This is best explained by the job demand resource model, a famous theory in occupational psychology. The idea is that every job has demand, which are things that take away your energy, and resources, which are things that give you energy back. When you never detach from work, you never allow your personal resources to replenish. You're constantly withdrawing from your energy bank account without making any deposits. And we all know what would happen if we keep taking money without putting in any. Without psychological detachment, you deplete these resources faster than you can replenish them, and you become vulnerable to stress, more emotionally exhausted, and less resilient. It is a vicious cycle because you're too tired to properly detach. When you don't detach, you stay tired. So how do we fix this? How do we go from being a phone with many tabs open, running in the background, to one that is properly switched off? It's about building a ritual of detachment, a deliberate, intentional process to signal to your brain that the workday is over. Here's what that can look like, based on what's worked for me and what the evidence suggests. Number one could be a shutdown ritual. At a specific time every day, formally end your work. Close all your tabs and applications. This act provides psychological closure. It tells your brain the work is stored safely, it will be here tomorrow, and my job today is done. The second one being create a physical buffer. If you work from home, this will be crucial for you. When it is possible, have a separate workspace. At the end of the day, leave that room and close the door. If that's not possible, at least tidy your desk and put your work things away in a drawer. This physical act creates a boundary that your body understands. Number three, we have choosing a third space. This is the concept of an activity that helps you transition between your professional self and your personal self. For many, the commute used to serve this purpose, and now you need to create it. It could be a 20-minute walk outside, a short workout, picking up your kids, or playing with your dog. It must be an activity that fully absorbs your attention and is completely separate from work. Number four, schedule some worry time. This is a classic cognitive behavioral therapy technique. If your work thoughts are intrusive, schedule 15 minutes in early evening to actively worry. It sounds really counterintuitive, right? But actually, write down everything that's on your mind in that 15 minutes. Once the time is up, you're done. If a thought popped up later, you can acknowledge it and say, I've already dealt with you in my worry time. I will address you tomorrow. And the last one, if you can't stop thinking about work, Spend 5 minutes doing a brain dump to-do list for tomorrow. I've discussed this in my previous video, link above. Ultimately, the goal isn't to add more to your plate. It's to change the quality of time you already have. For me, I love a good walk outside after a long working day. I physically close my laptop, say that I'm done for the day, and immediately get out. Go for a 50-minute walk around the block. It acts as a transition from work KY to home KY. The change didn't happen right away, but over time I noticed myself sleeping better. I woke up feeling actually refreshed, and the 2 p.m. slump became less severe. More importantly, I regained that mental energy that I have and want for my friends, my hobbies, and the life outside of work. You don't have to be tired. It is not the mandatory cost for high achievement. By mastering the art of psychological detachment, you can finally charge your battery properly. You can work hard and wake up feeling truly, genuinely refreshed. Sleep tight, and I'll see you in the next video.